Why do companies release new products? What's the key to a successful launch? And how do leaders approach these critical decisions to guide their organization in the right direction? To find out, on today's episode, we'll be discussing the release of Jotform's biggest product launch of the year, Jotform Sign, with none other than our founder and CEO himself, Aytekin Tank. You don't want to miss it. Welcome to Momentum, a podcast by Jotform, where we talk about the technology, productivity tips, insights, and best practices that help us move forward in business and in life. Let's get started.
3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Maintaining momentum.
All right, welcome everyone. We are here for the second time with Jotform's founder and CEO, Aytekin Tank. Aytekin, welcome to the show. It's so great to have you here again.
Thank you, Elliot. It's great to be on this show.
It's great. I want to dive right in because at the time we're recording this, the week that we're recording this, we're launching one of our biggest product releases ever in Jotform Sign. Can you talk a little bit about what makes this product so important for Jotform and for users?
Sure. So we always see our job as, completing the journey for our users. And the journey starts with a form. People start, creating forms on Jotform. And then when that form is filled, other things start happening, like, emails, like document generation, and data reporting, automation related features like approvals. And all these things are happening, and we didn't just came up with that idea like from day one. Jotform has been around for 16 years, so we just started with forms. And then we discovered that it's actually a journey, and the forms are just the beginning. And if we just listen to our users and find out what they are doing, and we do that a lot. Like, we interview our users, we find out like lots of different pieces of the puzzle, and it turned out like one of the pieces that was missing on this journey was actually e-signatures, and people were using Jotform for some forms for some form types that actually require signatures. And we actually had this e-signature field on our forms, and people were using that a lot. And they were also generating documents using our PDF editor feature. And all those things came together, and that's how we decided, okay, this is a good product for Jotform users. And we did a better period as well, and people love the new product. That's why this is a really important release for us.
Yeah, I like what you said about puzzle pieces. Forms are just the first piece of the puzzle, but there's so many aspects and dimensions after someone collects data about what they do with it. And we already have a signature widget, but this builds on that so much more, and we'll get into that a little bit more. Can you go back a little bit and tell us, when did you decide Jotform Sign was something we needed to bring to market? Like, how long has this been in process, and what led to that initial decision that we needed to do this?
I think the first time we thought about it was 2018.
2018.
Been a long time ago. And the reason was we already had this, as you mentioned, we already had this signature field in our forms. And but these signature fields are not completely compliant to the legal requirements of e-signatures. So it's just like a signature field where you can people can draw on it, and you can put it on your forms. It actually works, but people needed more formal, better e-signature products. And when we saw that 10% of our active users were actually using this signature field, and when we see all these forms that actually has the signature fields on them, we thought, okay, we have to do a better job. We have to, make sure that we have this digital certificates, we have audit history, we have all the features that are required for a more formal, more legally binding e-signature product. and that's how we started working on this product. And it's been a journey, and we did a beta program for a long time. So sometimes when we launch products, people are like, okay, I've been using this product for a year. And we say, okay, you were in the beta program, and that's why you were using it. And it's really important for us because it's a learning opportunity, because when we release a product, we want it to be good. And we release it to 1% of our users, and then we get feedback from them. And we increase those percentage of users who have the beta version. And that's how we make sure that we have a good product.
Right. Yeah. People might not realize when they eventually see a product or a product launch that has been tested for often months up until that point in the beta program. And so we've optimized and tweaked it and made it as good as we can. And that is pretty staggering to think that 10% of all our forms have a signature widget on them.
10% of all our active forms.
Millions and millions
have
of forms,
the signature
10%. So obviously a very important product to bring to market from that perspective. I'm curious from your standpoint and perspective as founder and CEO of a successful SaaS technology company, how do you decide what new product or initiative to invest resources into next? Because there's so many options. Obviously, we have a great engineering and development team, so many things we could build, but how do you decide this is going to be the next big thing? This is what I'm going to invest years of future resources into. How do you make that decision?
The one thing we have at Jotform is we have this focus, and people have been asking, okay, are we going to do another product? Okay, Jotform is a great product. Hey, why don't we make another product, completely different product, as a company? But I feel like if we do that, we are kind of losing the opportunity to advance our existing product. And we might lose our focus, and we might actually, if we give best of our ideas to the only product we have, and we have a responsibility to 70 million Jotform users who are using the product, and they expect us to advance the product, improve renew the product all the time. And that's what we have been doing during the 16 years. We didn't just went and just created a completely new product. What we are doing is we are creating products like Jotform Sign that are actually complementary to the existing Jotform product, so that it completes the product. And when we look at our users, when we look at our customers, we still find lots of needs, and that's how we discover new ideas. And there's just so many, there's the ocean of new ideas that we always have. So there's no problem with finding ideas. The biggest problem is deciding which idea or which product would work best, which feature we should work on next. And it's always a resource issue. We have limited resources, so we have product teams, and how many which product teams we can dedicate to which product, and what can we work on next. And to decide that, we actually look at the existing usage. We interview our users. We have a user research team who will just go out and interview our users, see their needs. We look at the numbers, that's how, e-signature, Jotform Sign, we looked at people who were, using signature field. We were surprised, how can, it turns out, we were actually a signature product, we were an e-signature company, and we didn't know it.
Without even
just until we looked at the numbers. And once we looked at those numbers, okay, we need to do this better. We cannot just do this with a single widget. We have to, put resources into this and do a good job. And we have so many, upcoming great products and great ideas. It usually takes many years for a product like Jotform Sign to be completed. Right. But we make sure that we do a good job at this. And soon we have another launch, so I'm not going to talk about it,
okay,
because we don't want to give it away beforehand, because it's just, we love that excitement, we love the launches, and those excitement we have during the launches, and we do a good job at launching products, and I love it. It's just best times of the Best times for me doing the launches, product launches.
It's incredible. You have all the teams come together. So many different people work on launches and the products and the marketing around it. It's incredible to unite. We're here at Jotformers Week right now. We have 450 employees over 26 countries. It's truly amazing and humbling to be here for that. But I like what you said about our products are customer led. We listen to our customers first and foremost, and the allocation of resources, like you mentioned, because we're a bootstrap company still, we don't have all the VC funding to hire a bunch of new people to do this thing, that thing. We have to be very selective about what we do, and knowing that our focus is on forms and building out from that. So I think that philosophy has helped us significantly with our products. So let's go a little bit further on the process now. So you've decided, okay, Jotform Sign, as an example, is a product that you're bringing to market. Once you decide, we're going to bring this to market, it's going to be years down the road, but this is what we're going to do. How do you begin that process? Like, what does the journey look like? What are the first steps? How do you even begin starting a product as intensive as Jotform Sign?
That's also a lot of fun. So once we decide, okay, we are going to build this product, like Jotform Sign, what we do is we decide what's the biggest issues with this new product, what are the biggest problems we need to solve, and what kind of product this will be, what's going to be the positioning of this product, what will it mean for our existing users, and also what would it mean for people who never use Jotform, can we also make a product that both answers existing Jotform users and it can bring us more new users as well. Yeah.
I think that's important to note, because a lot of people think that positioning comes after a product is made, but you're thinking about positioning right at the very beginning, which I think is a really important distinction that companies should note.
Yeah.
So right away you're thinking about the positioning, and then what happens next? How do you assign people to do it? How does the ball unfold?
Exactly. I mean, when we are actually deciding on the positioning, we have to decide early on, because if we decide early on, we can actually build out all the capabilities that is actually needed for positioning. Mm-hmm. For example, Jotform Sign's positioning is it's the best automation product if you need e-signatures. Mm-hmm. If you need automation and with your e-signatures, there are over 400 e-signature products on the market, and we thought about it okay, what's the best, what's our best angle? What makes Jotform Sign so different mm-hmm. Compared to the other products? And what made it so different was actually it came with Jotform. Mm-hmm. So it came with Jotform's all these capabilities, Jotform's form builder, Jotform's customizable email features, automation features, conditional logic features, and we had approvals, PDF document generation. We have all these inbox and tables features. We have all these kind of different kind of features, and they actually complement existing. And if you add them to an e-signature product, mm-hmm. that just becomes a huge automation product, and that's what we solve. And then, okay, if this is going to be really good at automation, what should we build so that we really deliver on our promise? And that's why it's important to start with the positioning, mm-hmm. even in the early days. But then we decide what's the biggest problems? What's the biggest issues we need to solve? What's the biggest challenge we need to solve? And we find out that challenge, and then from there we actually start doing internal week-long hackathons. Mm-hmm. So we have the first ones are usual design hackathons. So we have 10 product designers. They will just spend a week, and we are going to give them really tough problems, how can we, how can a, PDF signature product can be simple and easy, because all the products on the market is just very clunky and
Yes.
they are very cluttered, they're very confusing. How can we, create a user experience that actually, passes them, like, leapfrog them? And that's a good example to like the design week. And then our designers, they just, they look at other products, they come up with new ideas, and then what happens is that like it's very magical, because out of 10 designers, one of them will really solve it. Like it's just going to be like everyone knows like the winner of the design week. Like when we watch all the design week, it's just and it's not always the same person, but it's just that competition. And I learned from that competition those ideas from Apple's, like for example books like creative selection about like how the Apple works. And they always have these competitions, and it's kind of brutal, because in their cases, they're not just spending 1 week; they're spending like 6 months.
Right.
And like if there are like 10 teams who are working on the same idea, 9 of them are going to be like their ideas are going to be thrown out.
Right.
It's brutal, but it works. Like they create the best products in the world. So after the design weeks, we start on more engineering challenges, and engineering challenges require what we call hack weeks, which is very similar to design weeks, like a week-long engineering hackathons. And in these cases, they are solving more like engineering challenges, like how can we, for example, find where to put the, e-signature like fields automatically, so the user doesn't have to, find them, things like that. And those are also very, creative. Those are also helping us with the finding the best solutions. But once we solve all the big problems, because we want to start with the big rocks, like once you put the big rocks, it's easier to just put like smaller rocks, and it gets easier. You don't want to start with the small rocks and then try to put the big rocks on top of them. It
doesn't work as well.
After that, it's just a single product team takes over, and after we have a handle on like the big problems and the architecture of the product, a single product team, and they will take like, in the example of Jotform Sign, I think it took them like 1.5 years.
1.5
They just had to like, it's just a grinding work, like, and we had the demo days. Every day they saw like their advancement, like, we implemented this, we added this, we tried this, we had to go back and redo this. And but it's good. I mean, it's how you create good products, and just it takes them a long time, and they continuously improve their ideas. They release the MVP, they get to the MVP, which means like minimum viable product, and it's just minimum version that we can give it to users. We can start the beta program so we can start getting feedback, because without users, we don't know if we are doing something that's worthwhile.
Right.
Just sometimes people cannot use it. Like it's just, they don't understand it. It's just too complex, too confusing. You have to, do those beta programs and usability testing and all those things, interviewing beta users, and that's how we get to a good product. And it's so much fun.
Can I ask? We're in October as we're recording this and launching Sign. When did the first beta product for Sign come out?
I think it was beginning of this year.
Okay, so many months ago.
Yeah, many months ago.
So that's such an interesting process, like the hackathon, the hack weeks, and then just giving it to a team where they are working on it, and then every demo day they're giving updates on it. It really breeds. It sounds like an environment of accountability. Like during the hack weeks, your idea might not be used, but you're still presenting it. You still have a lot of effort and pride behind that, and you're holding yourself and everyone around you accountable who are also working so hard. And only one idea can maybe be chosen, but at the same time, it breeds that environment where I think people can be really proud of the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into a product.
I mean, we care about accountability, but we also allow for failure. Like we allow people to fail, and like design weeks, hack weeks, or like giving a product team the ownership. And these teams are like cross-functional, like so there's a designer, there are like backend developer, front-end developer, there's a product manager, there are user researchers sometimes, there are like, UI developers, and the designer is constantly working with the team, and they're constantly trying different things, and there's nothing wrong with going to wrong direction, trying things, and getting feedback from users, and then decide, okay, this doesn't work. Let's go to some other direction.
Mm-hmm. And that's its own version of accountability, right? Having to kind of suck that up and move in a new direction just to make sure you have the best product at the end of the day. What are usually, you talked about how you identify what are the biggest issues you have to solve. Generally, when you are in the middle of a product launch and you're working on this new product, what are some common like challenges that you face during that? Is it often, like, do you often have to pivot entirely if you get different direction, or do you start a product that you're like, this isn't just working as we imagined? What are some of the biggest pitfalls that sometimes encounter with a product launch?
We try to stay flexible. I think that's really important. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we will usually say, okay, hey, we are probably gonna launch this on September 2022, let's say.
Like, you have an idea, yeah.
But then we say, okay, we have this really big challenge. That's actually one of the reasons we don't announce our products beforehand. Like,
right.
Usually it's always a surprise, like when we release something.
Yes.
And it actually makes it much more fun. It's like a surprise.
Yeah.
But it also gives us flexibility. Like, otherwise, if we tell people, okay, hey, Jotform customers, we are going to release this feature on this date. And now, like, we have to push ourselves. Maybe we'll not do a good job. Maybe we'll have to cut too much corners. Mm-hmm. So this, like, flexibility is good for us. Mm-hmm. And so we have the flexibility. If there's a big problem, hey, let's postpone this. 1 month, 2 months, and that usually happens. And we postpone things, and it's a good thing. And it's also good for the morale or the the motivation of the team. Like, they don't get like, oh my God, we are in a death match. Yeah. And so because of that, the launches are actually, they're not that stressful. They are more fun. Of course, at the last minute there are some stresses because usually, okay, last minute, okay, we forgot to do this. We remember something. Right. But
so close to the finish.
We are more organized now. Like, I remember, like, maybe 10 years ago when we did a launch, I did everything myself. Mm-hmm. but now, like, there are actually dedicated people who are just preparing for the launches. Like, so they do a really good job. Yeah. And the challenges with the launches are, I think the biggest one is making sure that we have a good positioning, and we can actually communicate that well to our users. Mm-hmm. And to the outside world. So we just, we are, and you guys actually did, the marketing team actually did like their own hackathons as well. Like, we contributed. Even the taglines are just coming out from, being decided on those hackathons as well. And just finding the right positioning, making sure that we can communicate it well. I think those things are important because we release something, people don't understand, okay, what is this? Like, even the name of the product is really important. Mm-hmm. Like, it communicates the value for the product. And if we can, communicate it well, and it's not just the words, it's also like the screenshots and the pictures. Visuals. And all those things we put on our product pages, and we have to do them well. And when we do them well, we can see from the numbers, people start using the product right away, and people are excited about it, and just it makes us happy. It's
incredible. Yeah, the satisfaction that comes from the harmony of the marketing team working with the developers and the designers and the engineers and everyone that works so hard on a product to finally be able to release it, and everything's packaged together, and you can have so much pride over that. It's awe-inspiring. And I really like what you said about being flexible with launch. I know that there have been some reports in news about, like the video game industry, et cetera, who have a harsh deadline. You hear about crunch weeks and crunch time, and they're sleeping at the office, and it's stressful and terrible work environments. I've definitely read some articles on that, so I am glad that we have a better culture in that way, and it's okay to punt it a little bit, just to make sure we have happy employees and a good product. So I like that a lot. I was curious, you're obviously founder and CEO. At this point, I think you said like 10 years ago, you were still working on the product. At this point, how involved are you with the development itself? Are you actually helping like develop and code it? Are you just sort of thinking from a broad, holistic view at this point? What's your involvement now as CEO of a company of 450 people with the product launches themselves?
I mean, I loved working on the product in the past, but at this point, there's just no time for me to work on the product. My position is more like, I feel like I'm in this like really high place and I can actually see everything because I'm meeting with all these people, all these different, departments in the company. And my job is to make sure that they have the good direction. Like we are actually working on what we set out for. Like we have good decisions, and we are going in the direction that's going to help our users the most. And also make sure that people are communicating well with each other. Like I'm talking to someone, and then I'm talking to someone else, and I can see that okay, they are not, They are not aware of each other, and they have good ideas, but they are not. They need to get together, or maybe I'll just communicate them the ideas. So I'm kind of, just seeing what everything happening, and then trying to contribute best to make sure that everyone is in the same place and we are going to the right direction together. And unfortunately, no time for like coding and. I try to do that. Like at some point, like I was sometimes like feeling like okay, I have the rush. I need to write some code, and I would start, and someone would ask something. And once you stop doing those like development for a while, it's hard to get in the zone. Yeah. So at some point I gave up. Like at this point I'm not writing any more code, but I don't see myself as like just a developer. I also saw myself as a product person, and like making a good product, like making a product people love and use. That's just the most important thing for me. And it even comes before like being a technical or developer person. And that's who I was when I started Jotform like many years ago. So I feel like I still have that. And I still try to keep that. By just giving feedback to our teams, to our products, and talking about the product all the time with our team, and just sometimes it's just easier to be like as the company grows, it's just easier to just see it as like we are managing things, we are managing money or people. But it's actually, we are a product company. And I always remind myself that we are a product company. Product comes first, and we make sure that we make a good product, and we continue to renew ourselves and make our products better and better all the time.
Right. And I imagine that must have been a pretty significant transition for you, going from a developer to this entirely different skill set, which you have to implement now as overseeing everything. And I imagine being a developer helps because you can be fluent in what they're actually doing. But how was that transition for you? Did you just kind of learn that as you went? How did you go from point A to point B where you are now?
Yeah. The good thing is I had a lot of time.
Yes.
16 years. Yeah. So, and it's just very slow and gradual. The first year it was only me, and then I hired my first employee, second year, second employee, third year. It's just so slow that it's just, I gained the experience on the way. It's a journey. We see Jotform as a journey that starts with forms, and then we help our users to complete all the necessary things to accomplish what they need to accomplish. And Jotform is also, as a company, a journey.
Yes.
We are not here to, get an investment, do an exit and all that. Like we just, I was a bootstrapper, and we never received an investment, and it just stayed that way. We don't have to worry about those kind of things. And this allows us to just do things the right way. We don't have to like rush, and we don't have to hire so many people at once. We don't have to like optimize our business, like just try to get more money from our customers, like do all kinds of tricks. We just, we can take the long road. And this is what makes Jotform different. If you compare to our competitors, We are a bootstrap company, and we have this long growth, and we continue to improve our product, and that's what we are going to do. And we have a brighter future.
Yes, we were talking the other day, and you mentioned exactly that. Looking at the long term, like you first thought of Jotform Sign 4 or 5 years ago, and as we continue to pave our way and grow slow but grow the right way and releasing the right products, it's a promising future indeed. Is there anything related to Jotform Sign or product launches in general that you feel we didn't cover here that's worth bringing up?
About Jotform Sign, I really believe that we have something here. Like, it's not just, we definitely have something here because our users are all using the signature field, and they need e-signature solution, a formal e-signature solution. But it's not only that. Like, when we launched just like 2 days ago, and we see that people are actually just coming for Jotform Sign. So I have this view that Jotform Sign is going to be a successful product by itself, like even without Jotform. What makes it successful is actually Jotform, because it has all the Jotform's power behind it. But just by itself, because it's a good, elegant solution. It's a good product. We did a really good job here, and there are just so many hundreds of products in the market, but I haven't seen a really good product. And Jotform Sign is a really good e-signature product. I think we did a good job, and that's because we see ourselves as a product company, and we invest in our product and our product team, and that shows in our product as well, in Jotform Sign as well. And on the related features like PDF document generation, Jotform's users have been using that for many, many years, so we have the experience to do a good job. So I feel like because of our experience in very related fields, we were able to create a really good product, and I'm really excited about Jotform Sign. Yeah.
I am excited as well. This launch has been amazing. It's great to be able to come together and celebrate this as a team, as a company, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on the show today and talk a little bit about it.
Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.